Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. So in today's video we are going to be talking a little bit more about rose plants because now it is going to be their growing season. So here you can see I have a couple of rose plants. There are around 5 of them, all have different colors. I will be getting in some more as well. This one I had pruned it recently some months ago, and I will put up the video clip of how it looked a couple of days back, and you can see what an amazing growth it has. This is how it looked a couple of days back, and now you can see that beautiful growth on it. Very soon we will have red roses on it. It's the red color, and rest of them I had not done. Only this one I had done a complete pruning, but rest of them I had not done a complete pruning. I had done very little pruning of the rest of them, and they are also starting to put out the growth. You can see over here as well a lot of new growth, because in my city the Jan onwards they get into their growing period. Again, it depends upon your location and environment and the type of climate you have, but in India we tend to do the pruning until May, because that's when they will start to have their growing period. So ideally it is late winters and in the beginning of summer is the best time to prune your rose plants, because that's when they will start getting into their growing period. This one I'm sure you might have seen by now 1,000 times, my orange rose, which is absolutely beautiful. This is the first one that has started to bloom. Rest of them, because I had done the pruning, they are going to take a while for them to bloom. Now, as I said, you have to give the basic care. Rose plants are very heavy feeding plants, which means that you need to have a very rich organic soil. You can use any organic fertilizers like vermicompost, seaweed, or your kitchen waste compost as well. I do not prefer to use chemical fertilizers. You can use that if you wish to. I don't prefer, because chemical fertilizers, not only that they give you a lot of flowers, but it also tends to ruin the health of the soil. Organic fertilizers will make your soil very rich. It will also maintain the health, and in fact it is going to make your soil very healthy. So I only tend to use kitchen waste, waste tea leaves, everything from the kitchen. So I don't use any chemicals. My soil is very rich, it's very fertile, it is very healthy. I can understand with the plant itself, even if I tend to sow any seeds, they tend to germinate very quickly, they tend to put flowers very well, they tend to grow very healthy. Yes, the amount of flowers are going to be comparatively very less when you use organic fertilizers. In chemical fertilizers you will of course get a lot of flowers. Like, let's say if in this rose plant, if I would have used chemical fertilizers, probably I would have another 4 or 5 roses. But with organic fertilizers, the rate of flowering is little less. But what's more important is the health of the soil. Soil is very important. If your soil is healthy, you will be able to grow healthy plants. I'm going to show you another thing that I tend to add in my rose plant soil. It tends to amend the soil, and it tends to make our rose plant very healthy. It helps the rose plant grow very healthy, put out a good amount of flowers, and that is the orange peels. Now you can use any kind of citrus peels, whether it's orange, tangerine, lemon, sweet lime. So all of these can be used. All you have to do is just take the peels and soak them in water for a week, and later on you can just use 2 spoons of this liquid once every 15 days. I'll show you the application method. Another important thing, as I said, you can use any kind of citrus peels, orange, tangerine, sweet lime. But if you're using lime, the small ones, the ones that we tend to use it on a regular basis, because orange is something that is a seasonal fruit, it is not available throughout the year. What I do is, because I prefer orange peels rather than any other citrus peels, I also tend to store them in a dried form. These are dehydrated, they have been dried in the sun. I tend to also use this after making them into a powder, or I tend to keep them in water like this. The water one is something that I prefer more than the powder form, because this you have to dry it in the sun, then you have to remove all the moisture and then grind them. So that is too much of work. This tends to work out really well. So in order to apply, I will first moisten the soil. Guys, whether it is any kind of fertilizer, vermicompost, compost, seaweed, any kind of fertilizer, always ensure that you moisten the soil evenly before you add any kind of fertilizer, because a lot of times fertilizers can burn the roots if the soil is completely dry. Never add fertilizers in dry soil. So I will moisten the soil. It's already moist a little bit from beneath, but I'll just moisten it from above. And once that's done, you can see the water is also starting to pass from the drain hole, which means that the soil is completely moist inside the pot. The next thing what we'll do is we are just going to take 2 tablespoons of the orange peel water and just add it into the soil. Now, as I said, this is orange peel, hence I'm using 2 spoons. If you're using the regular lemon, then ensure you're using only 1 spoon, because it is more acidic compared to the orange peels. So that's about it, guys. This is all you have to do. You can do it once in 15 days, 2 spoons. So basically once a month you can add 4 tablespoons, and that is going to work out really well. Now please don't get carried away that just because you're seeing a very good amount of growth that you are going to empty the entire bottle. That is not right. Remember, everything has a limit. It has to be done in a very less quantity. If you're going to add too much, the soil will become very acidic. Rose plants prefer slight acidity in soil, not extremely acidic soil. That will damage the plant. So ensure you're doing it in a very less amount. Don't be in a hurry, or don't get excited and empty the entire bottle in one pot. It will damage the plant. Of course, apart from that orange peel water, you also have to give a good amount of fertilizers, as I said, whether vermicompost, compost or seaweed, because these are heavy feeding plants. So ensure you're doing all of these things. Apart from this, sunlight is the most important thing. If you're not going to give a good amount of sunlight to your rose plant, all of these things are not going to be effective. If you are feeding the plant, if you are giving water to the plant, you are giving a part of it. The rest of it is only going to be completed when the plant gets a good amount of sunlight. Remember, in the process of photosynthesis, you need water, you need fertilizers, and you need light. Light is the most important thing. If you're not going to offer your rose plant 5 to 6 hours or 6 to 7 hours of direct sunlight, the roses are not going to show up on your plant. Despite of how much ever fertilizers you add, the roses will not show up unless and until you don't give it a good amount of direct sunlight. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.